Alright guys, Hood Tour Season 5, Episode 12. Gonna try to get as much of a ride in as I can before I go get lunch, because starting at 10:30 I overslept. As I said yesterday, or last night after I got home, you know, I told Mom that I'm mentally and physically drained because I had a busy night last night. Oh, busier than I thought, but it wasn't too terribly bad. Alright, garage is good. So, because we got out of work about 5 minutes after we should have, so. So that's a good thing. I think it might have been a tiny bit longer too. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention at the time. I think it was about 5-6 minutes after we, we're supposed to clock out. So Tony ain't gonna be too terribly mad. I was staying on top of my shit all night, so. Still in a low gear too. Wearing a hat today. I'm still wearing my Dickies coat, but I'm wearing a fucking hat. Visor. Yeah, it's cool. But not like yesterday with the fucking wind. Holy shit. Yay! No wait. Which kids, if you're learning to drive, should always make stops when applicable. When you need to. Because there's only two-way stops. Like here on Newtalls. It's the Newtalls is the only one with the signs. So cross traffic like Van Buren, or I should say, list it like this. So it'd be cross traffic like Baston, Van Buren, University, Preble, Farland, Herald, and Eastman all don't stop. So I had to laugh about this last night too. So we had a decent size. You know, the reason why I say decent size is because it was about 5 or 6 people. But, you know, for like a small group, a bigger group, decent, and you're only looking about 1,000 plus. So, but for on the smaller side, it was a decent size of group, you know, for a small setting anyway. Had coming to work, they're homeless. And I know where they're living. You guys know that. They're living down behind the apartment building on the old abandoned railroad tracks. And so I watched them leave. You know, they caught them on the vlog yesterday. I watched them leave their spot. And so I'm like, oh, whatever, I'm just gonna leave them. You know, they're probably up to no good. I'll just leave them. You know, they'll let them get caught on their own. And they all of a sudden, bam, they show up and fucking work. So me and Dee Dee step outside to get some air before we locked up lobby. And because we go out the back door. We'll walk around to the side of the building so that we can look in the lobby so that we can watch for if anybody comes in before we lock up lobby. She's like, yeah, that's a good idea, we can do that. And then we come in lobby because we're right there and it's still unlocked. And I'm like, and at this point it's like 9:22. You know, and I had the fry station done, so I didn't have anything to do until about 9:30. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll just stay here and wait until 9:30. I'm gonna hit lobby. You know, I'll shut the gate and whatever. But we ended up getting some orders, so I couldn't wait. And then I noticed it's 9:30. I said, hey, I'm gonna go hit lobby. I don't know if they left yet or not. And Dee Dee's like, okay. So I hit, you know, I'm going towards the gate. Because I said I think they're still here, but you know, I'm gonna at least shut the gate if they are. You know, and I said, you know, knowing that it's 9:30, I said, hey guys, I'm sorry, lobby's closed. They're like, okay. They started getting up to leave, and they're taking their sweet ass time. You know, so I go back and finish making some orders because there's something that had come in from, you know, between me finishing up the first little bit and closing the gate. So I go, you know, it was only like 1 or 2 orders, so whatever. You know, so I finished them and I said I'm gonna go check and see if they left, because then I'm gonna grab the door right away if they did. Dee just finally freed up, and she's like, "What? What's wrong?" I said, "They're still here. They should have at least started making their way to the door by now. And I would have just followed them out, let them out, and then shut the door behind them." And Dee's like, "Yeah, no." And then she just fucking jumped in. Hold that thought.